we are live and in person, ready to start this conversation. So, today we are talking religion versus spirituality. We have our very just amazing, I don't know. I don't even know how to introduce Sofu every time he comes on the channel. Just
We're family now.
exactly. And he's so powerful. Every time he comes on this channel to grace us with his presence and to just give us like a word. Yeah, not only a word, but a lesson on life. So every Monday, I'm super excited to hear what he has to say next. And I'm learning right along with the rest of y'all. So without further ado, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone?
Guys, this is Osofo Kojo. I'm always humbled, always excited to come your way. I love to teach, basically. So whenever I get opportunity to jump on a platform that I believe in, then I'll definitely jump on it. I don't just go. I have to believe on the platform. I have to believe in what the host is doing, where the host is going, the energy behind the host. Once I get in and I feel it's right, then of course we're on to something. So I'm always excited, always humbling to come on this platform. And of course, of Kojo of Mekra, and of course, also under Oyamikasu Chrome. Oyamikasu Chrome is the mother, and Mekra is just the first baby. There are
Mhm.
going to be many other babies coming out of Mekra, but coming out of Oyamikasu Chrome, but Mekra is the first baby. And I happen to be the lead servant, the lead servant. So I want to call because I'm serving everybody. So I'm not going to call CEO, whatever. No, I'm the lead servant. Everybody in Oyamikasu Chrome is serving. We are serving life. We are serving existentiality. And of course, I'm always excited to come your way. You should definitely make it a point to know who you are. And that's my whole journey. That's what I do. That's my whole assignment to help you know who you are. And I want to say a big thank you to all the energies around me. Of course, Nam Frama, Naboza, Otumfo, Bedubonsu. Tobo Yiblam, my father. I say a big shout out to my father. You guys, one day, maybe when the time is, you get to see my father live on Just Vlog, and you're gonna love. And of course, I want to say my second father, which is Medao. I say thank you, of course. Ayensu, Akra Yensu Fofu, Alanta, Ekwebi the Baja, Maja Lokoto Baja Lokoto Teklipo, Ajin Pekudekwe, all these amazing energies around me. I'm always humbled. So many of them I can't mention all the names. Otubia and Su. Once I mention one name, they all in tune. Our friend from us. So that's a little introduction. What I can say. I don't know how to do introductions, by the way. I just like to talk. I just want to
Oh,
talk.
I mean, that introduction was amazing in itself. So I think you did a pretty good job. Okay, so jumping right on into today's conversation. It's always like a hot topic on religion versus spirituality. And I feel like when it comes to this topic, we're always going back and forth. Which one matters? Which one doesn't matter? Which one is right? Which one is wrong? Which one should we follow? And so I'm glad that you are on the channel today to bring some clarity to this much needed topic, to just, break it down, religion, spirituality, and just give us a better understanding of, what are the differences between the two, first of all, and what they mean for us individually, and which one is right and wrong, or is there a right and wrong?
Guys, sorry. When I look down, I'm not getting distracted at all. I'm just sharing
Mhm.
on all our platforms to make sure
Yeah.
everybody gets to interact with us as well. So
And
we
if you're
just
tuning in to this channel for the first time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Stay a while. Also, share this live. We need y'all to start sharing these lives. We're not just on here just talking because we got breath and that's what we like to do, but we're really trying to get this information out there because we're trying to transform lives over here. So we need y'all help. So go ahead and share these lives, especially if it's, beneficial to you and you've gotten so much out of what we are discussing every Monday. Let somebody else join in too and get what they need to get from these things as well.
so I always wants to because we use the English language, and it's not my first language. It's English is what like my third language.
Oh wow.
So I always wants to understand the English terminologies that we are using to explain because I totally understand it, but I need to get to the reason why the English are using that particular word or that particular phrase to explain the point that they're trying to get, right? So the subject is about religion and spirituality. This is a subject that we cannot finish today. I promise you, like, this is going to take a long time because to fully understand it, it takes a lot of maturity and a lot of awareness of the fact that there are multiplicity of intelligence, information out there, knowledge out there that you got to learn. You got to be able to bring yourself to a place where you can actually say, you know what, I know this, but I'm also willing to hear what somebody else got to say. You got to be open minded, right? So without that, if you become close minded, then nobody gets to bless you.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Because if you walk around with your face closed, nobody gives to you. Even if they give to you, it'll fall off. You understand? Anybody trying to, but you gotta learn to be open. You know, to be open to receive. Once you constantly come with an attitude like this, you would always receive in. But once you walk around with this attitude, you never get anything into your life, right? So you always have to walk around empty, no matter what you know, no matter what you've acquired in life, you still got to learn to be empty so that wherever you go, wherever you are, wherever you find yourself, somebody else can add an iota or whatever it is they know to yours. So, subject to religion, the, the tool on its own is technically, I understand where we stand and understand what we are trying to explain, but for the wider view, for the world at large, they need to understand this that okay, what does the English say about the word religion, right? They believe in and worship of a superhuman power or powers, especially a god or gods. That's religion.
Mm-hmm.
So you can be my religion according to the definition of what a religion is.
Mm-hmm.
If I have beliefs in you, and if I adore worship, people need to understand the word worship simply means to serve. That's all it means. So in our pilot, we have sorry, in our pilot we have the word asum. So worship is the word sum, yeah, kosum. So the minute you hear the word sum, it literally means to serve. That's all it means. So technically, if I decide, according to the definition, and I'm using the definition. So according to the definition, if I decide, where did you go? Yes, yeah. If I decide to believe a belief, set of beliefs, belief is something that is compounded over a period of time. You understand? Compounded over a period of time. So one day you can believe in something, and the thing you believe in can become your belief.
Mm-hmm.
So believe as in BELIEVE, believe, can eventually grow into becoming your belief
Mm-hmm.
because it's compounded, right? So if you're doing a project and I decide to believe in that project, to have a belief in what you're doing, right? And I decide to serve, because to me, you're superhuman to me, right? You're doing amazing to me. So if I decide to serve you, you literally become my religion.
Wow.
That is why we hear the term, as for me, music is my religion.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they say that? Somebody say fashion is my religion, right? Farming is my religion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people even go to understand and say smoking is my religion, right? So whatever you choose to believe over a period of time and you decide to serve the thing, worship, serve the thing, instantly that thing becomes your religion. So wives can be religion, husbands can be religion, children can be religion, profession can be religion. According to the word, unless I don't understand the word, right? And another definition, a particular system of faith and worship is also religion. A particular system of faith or worship is also religion. A pursuit of interest followed with great devotion is also religion, right? So technically, the two words, religion and spirituality is embedded within each other. Okay, so now we can search what is spiritual, right?
So you're
So
saying that both religion and spirituality is one and the same, or are you saying that they're interconnected?
they are interconnected in the sense that religion becomes, because it's you.
Mm-hmm.
Without you, it's all about you. You choosing to believe something. You choosing to go with something, right?
Right.
So that becomes your belief, and you decide to worship, to serve that particular thing. Is you.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? When we talk about spirituality, spirituality involves the recognition of a feeling or a sense of belief that is something greater than yourself. I you get to the two.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Spirituality can be defined generally as an individual's search for ultimate or sacred meaning and purpose in life. So, in the pursuit, you pursuing to search the ultimate or sacred meaning to life, that action can now become your religion.
Okay, I see. Mm.
You get what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
you cannot really separate the two according to the definitions. Of course, if we actually had to break down the word, then the two can stand opposing each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
But once you take the word for what it is, the two is embedded, it's intertwined. It's like the in and the out of something,
Right.
right? So spirituality becomes the in, that is your pursuit of a particular meaning or purpose or additions to life. And in that pursuit, you build the religion out of it. So the outer scale is a religion, the inner court is spirituality.
Wow.
So once you really understand the thing, you realize that in the definition of the word religion itself, it is not profound to a particular state of life
Mm-hmm.
or a particular group of people. So when we say you're religious, it's not limited to a particular thing.
Right.
You
So
can be religious in every single thing, right? So once, because most times when people talk about religion, they oftentimes want to go to the place where they say, "Oh, we talk about religion. Oh, I'm this,
mm-hmm.
I'm that." We ascribe that to a particular thing. But
Mm-hmm.
if we are taking the word for what it is, then you can never really ascribe it to anything.
Anything. Exactly. Because it's so
Then
diverse.
when you think
So
about it, sorry, go on, go on.
I was saying it's so universal. It's a universal term. So it can, like you said, apply to multiple things, not just any one thing.
So when you think about this, then it means that not a single person on the face of the earth should be upset about one's religion. Think about it, because it's your individual pursuit over a particular thing. So
Right.
that is your religion. And
Mm-hmm.
if you have the right to live and you have the right to exist, then how can I fault you for pursuing your religion? Or how can you fight me for pursuing my religion?
Exactly. Because that's your preference, and everybody got one.
The bottom line is you are trying. That's all you're doing. You're trying to gain more meaning to life.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to understand who you are.
Exactly.
And in so doing, that has created a particular religion for you. It is your search that brings you into religion. Religion does not bring you into your search.
Mm-hmm.
Because religion would not, by the time you become religious, you're already in the search.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really matter if this person's religion is drinking beer on Sunday mornings or this person's religion, because if the drinking beer is what brings ultimate meaning to the person's life, then that is the person's religion.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, in the context of a religion, I can now decide that, okay, I am creating a group of people, and I would begin to teach this group of people my understanding to life, what I think life should be, what I think life should not be, my approach, what I see sacred, what I don't see sacred. So I can now start to begin to teach individuals to believe in my religion. So
Mm-hmm.
in that attempt, I create a cult out of my beliefs.
Right.
So once we understand this, then you know that, okay, every institution that has been established over the period of time, right, actually started basically one person pursuing to understand life.
Mm-hmm.
And out of that one individual, people started building and tabling and blueprinting after the first person that started that particular thing. So
Right.
that blueprint becomes that individual's religion. So every single cult, so it automatically becomes a cult, right? So every single cult is basically starting with a leader
Mm-hmm.
who's saying, "This is my view of things."
Right.
And in perspective to my view, okay, then the people who will follow me would begin to now follow what I believe in and what I see to be right and what I see to be wrong.
Right.
That's what religion is all about.
Mm-hmm.
So every religious movement on the face of the earth always started with one person.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know something amazing? There's not a single person that started anything that intended for it to become a religion or a cult.
Mm.
Not one. Like I said, you can decide on something. That thing you decide to observe and believe in can work so much for you. And because it works so much for you, somebody else can say that, oh, I like how you live your life. I want to be like you. I want to do what you do. Right? So what can bring one person, two people, three people. And before you know it, it's created a group around you. But you didn't start out trying to look at it at, okay, I'm trying to do this.
Right. You
They
really
only wanted something better for themselves.
exactly. Exactly.
So every religious movement that has ever surfaced or existed on the face of the earth started with one person just trying to understand themselves, and eventually everybody followed that one person. So if you want to take it from what they want to claim, of course, before that there were other groups, other cults, right? So every religion on the face of the earth is a cult. That is why when people say occultic, oh, occultic, occultic, people start going crazy. Well, what do you mean occult? It's nothing deep. Again, it's an English word, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's get to the bottom of it. What is a cult? So again, listen. A cult is a system of religious veneration and devotion directed towards a particular figure or an object.
Mm.
Is that what the Jews do?
Mm.
Directed towards a particular figure or an object. Is that what the Muslims do? Directed. Is that what the Christians do? Is that what Krishna does? Is that what Hindu? All these religions said it's started as a cult.
Wow.
The only difference is that once they become big, people try to now look at them away from a cultic view. So now it is no longer a cult.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you're starting, once you're starting it, you want to hold it in secret. You have a place you meet.
Exactly.
You can't afford a big hall or a big venue or a big arena. So maybe you are meeting in a brother's house or a sister's house
Mm-hmm.
or a grandfather's garage or something,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you meet in somewhere, and now the outside world that are not in that system that you are will begin to look at what are they doing.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they all show up, they're all in black. Every time they show up, they're all singing one. They're all driving the same car. Oh, let's now project. We don't know, ignorant. Let's now project our assumptions on them to think this is what they are doing inside. But
Mm-hmm.
truth of the matter is, you haven't really gone in there to understand why they are really coming together.
Right. You're just
So
making.
this is sorry.
I say you're just making assumptions.
You just because you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's just every religious movement, first and foremost, didn't start with the founders of them. It is the people who came after them that created that religion, right? But it all started as a cult. So they
Mm-hmm.
were all meeting in fragments, meeting in small places and all of that. And now that cult grew into bigger systems, and that bigger systems grew into mega systems.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have third, fourth, fifth generation believing in something that the first generation believed in, but we're not there in the first generation to understand why that person believed in it in the first place. So now they are only moving not by experience, but by programming, by
Right.
indoctrinations,
Mm-hmm.
by doctrines.
Mm-hmm.
So this is basically how religious movements started on the face of the earth,
Right.
with nobody instructing them. Another thing, not a single God ever known on the face of the earth has ever created a religious group. Not a single God.
Mm.
Like I said, religion and spirituality is intertwined. And I'll break it down. That's why I said this subject can never be
It's yeah.
done
It's
today.
ever going, forever going, just like it's always been forever going. Mm-hmm.
So now we understanding what religion is. We understanding what spirituality is. We understanding what a cult is,
Mm-hmm.
right? These are all three. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. One and the same.
Okay. So now, how did religions come about? Like I said, an individual. So in the case of the Jewish, Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
Abraham came into contact with a particular group of people, and the group of people Abraham came into contact with, Abraham realized that there's something here that if I learn and cultivate to my life, it would help me become better. So why don't I become a part of that particular system that has blessed these people so much? So Abraham started it. Abraham's descendant with Abraham, according to the information out there,
Mm-hmm.
Abraham's descendant now decided to go after Abraham. And there's a trick here. Watch this. So if you, and I'm not for or against anybody. And by the time we are done with this conversation, you realize that we are not for or against anybody. You easily realize it.
Mm-hmm.
So this really critical. Okay. So if you have a wife. So let's say I have a wife, right? Or let's even pretend I'm going to the story, right? And let's say I have a wife and I give birth to that child, right? And it doesn't work between me and the wife. Or in this case, God said, da 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 da, whatever. Then I have a second wife, right? Or second child. But the second child is from another woman.
Mm-hmm.
When they are reading my records, who would be my first child?
So you're saying, repeat it one more time. You said you
So
have.
let me say it again.
Uh-huh.
So I'm married. Okay.
Okay.
I'm,
Uh-huh.
I'm married to a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Once I marry the woman is not able to give birth.
Right.
Okay. Now I decide to try having a child with another woman.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second woman I had a child with gets pregnant, give birth to a boy.
Mm-hmm.
And after 11 or 12 years, my first wife that couldn't give birth now give birth to another boy.
Mm-hmm.
So I have two sons, right?
Right.
The question is, which one of the two sons is my firstborn?
Oh yeah, on your from your wife.
The one for my wife is my firstborn.
Uh-huh. Well, no, the one from the lady who's not your wife is your firstborn
Is
technically.
my so
Yeah.
if there is a God and that God is sharing a blessing
Uh-huh.
to, and that God is saying my firstborn child would
Mm-hmm.
inherit this, right? In
Mm-hmm.
any let's common sense, right? Let's say common sense. In any courtroom, which child would aim or would assume the position of a first son to take the properties or the possession of the man?
The child that was first born.
Whether legitimate or illegitimate,
Right.
that child or the firstborn person is the one that is going forth to.
Mm-hmm. To inherit
The
your.
court is not. Maybe the laws in the states are different.
Oh
I don't think the court will say, well, the first child is out of wedlock, so the first child would only be the woman who was married.
yeah, they don't look at that.
They don't look at it, right? They are all their children,
Yeah.
except the woman now tries to manipulate things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if we human beings have common sense to decide that, you know what, there's no way I can bypass the first child because and give the blessing to a second child. If you human being has the common sense of that,
Mm-hmm.
imagine a God that is supposed to be all knowing, all loving, all involving, all powerful, knows the future from the. Imagine that God now wondering, wait, I don't think this is your first child. The one to the legitimate marriage is the first child.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the God of the Bible is saying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not coming against any religion. Like I said, this is not against, right? But the God of the Bible is saying that I reject your first child because, according to me, the first child was not the legal. My question is, if you are God, all powerful, all knowing, all awesome, right? And if you knew this man giving birth to that other child is going to cause chaos, why even bless the womb of that other woman?
Right. And you know what? That's a question that I've always had reading the Bible myself. Like, wait a minute, I'm just trying to figure something out.
You understand? But
I mean,
anyway, that's not our subject for today. So let me go on. So now Abraham supposedly passed Ishmael, which is not, but supposedly passed Ishmael, give the blessing to Isaac. Isaac becomes the first child. Isaac carries the inheritance and the religion of Abraham.
mm-hmm.
Ishmael also goes away and carried the religion of Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
So they both children go separate ways, but they both come into the religion of Abraham. But
Mm-hmm.
Abraham also came into the religion of a group of people that Abraham didn't know before, that the Bible didn't say much about,
Right.
right? Abraham came into the priests of Canaan,
Uh-huh.
right? Melchizedek, right? Abraham came into the priest of Abraham. So the priest of Canaan was also into a particular religion. Religion simply becoming belief systems. That is all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Just belief systems. Okay, so now Abraham is coming to one belief system. Abraham's children has created two belief systems out of the one belief system that Abraham had. So we had just one belief system Abraham come into contact with. Out of that one belief system, we have two belief systems becoming two religions.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The religion of Abraham's supposedly legitimate child becomes the religion of the Jewish people.
Mm-hmm.
The religion of Ishmael, the illegitimate child, becomes the religion of the Islamic people. Ishmael, Islamic, where it's coming from, right? The same thing, the same thing. Abraham to Isaac, Isaac to Jacob, Jacob to becomes the Jews. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now one gives birth to two, two goes out. This is why when Christians says that, well, Christianity came before Islam, they're technically wrong
Mm-hmm.
because Islam religion traced their root all the way back to Abraham, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Christian religion traced their root also all the way back to Abraham. No,
Mm-hmm.
the Jewish religion, right? Okay, so now the Arabics or the Islams goes to establish their kingdom. They have their religious practice. Why? Because that is what their fathers believed in, and that is what helped their fathers become what their fathers became. So they practice it. No problem about that. That's what you believe in. That's what worked for you. Keep practicing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, the Jews also say this is what we believe in, this is what we practice, this is what we know. So we also keep practicing, right? So now one gives birth to two, the two are carrying forth. So everywhere these two went, they went to influence them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now before these two, so
Me neither. I'm learning too. I'm learning too. I didn't even realize that myself.
now before these two, right? Before these two, the other religious heads also existed, the groups, the cultures. Before religion, it was culture first. Back in the day, it was only cultural practice. It was just a way of life. The
Mm-hmm.
people didn't call it as it's just life. We didn't have to make it a religion, right? So, for example, if I tell you eating is your religion, would that make sense to you?
No, I would be like, what do you mean? I'm not this ain't
It's your
Christian.
way of life.
I'm not Hindu. Like, what do you mean?
If I say eating is your religion, you and I agree that no, that's just what I do. That's what keeps me alive, right? So
Exactly.
the spiritual practice was only life.
You know what,
It's what
Eric B, that has been my question too. And I'm still
what were
seeking
the
it.
African practicing before? Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So
That's a good question. Uh-huh.
and that's what I'm trying to break down. Okay, so the uh, Abraham came into contact with a priest of Canaan, who is Melchizedek, right? The priests of Canaan were actually the Akans. The Canaanites were Akans. Right? Then we have the Hamites. Then we have the Japhites, right? So all these people, right, already had what they believed in. So it started with Shem. They say Noah had Shem, Ham, Japheth. The story is distorted, right? Because after the flood, and after the flood goes to a story that is very popular. If you do a little research, you know where the flood is coming from. Because the Hindus also believe in the same flood. They believe in the same.
Wow.
And most of the religious sets also have their own flood stories. Most cultures have their own flood story because the flood situation is something that actually happened.
Right.
But it didn't happen because the so-called God of the Bible, right, wrote it down. Because guess what? Abraham is coming in contact with the Africans. Everything Abraham knew, the Africans were the one that taught them. But it was our way of life. That's what I'm saying. When you wake up and eat in the morning, it's not religious to you. It's just your life.
Right.
It's your daily ritual. Right? So our fathers, when they came to see the lives we were living, all these other people, when they came to see the lives we were living, they decided to adapt whatever it is that we are doing that is making us a powerful people. They just wanted to adapt it and run with it. So the birthplace of all these religious practices, right, is coming from us, Black people. But we didn't give it to them as a religion. We were letting them know it's our way of life. It is our
It's what we
language,
do.
our communication. This is just who we are.
Who we are.
But because they were not who we are, so they decided now to carve it out. You see how a photocopy comes out of original, right? And no matter what the photocopy does, it will never be as the original.
Exactly.
You get it? So now they have made a religion, cultivated a religion out of a lifestyle of a particular group of people. So they all come into contact with Africans. Anyway, let me move on. So now the Jews go ahead, right? The Ishmaelite goes to follow the Persian kingdoms and all of that, the Arabs populated area. So two forces going forth. Okay. Now, these two forces build Babylon, coming from the same place, the same people teaching them all of that. Okay, fast forward. Babylon actually existed before that time. Anyway.
Ask away, Eric B. Ask away. We here for the questions. We here for
Ask the question. She'll read it and she'll let me know. So now it comes all the way, and the Europeans, so Jews, most Islams, Hindus, because at that time we are coming to contact with the Hindus. We come into contact with the Indonesians. We come to contact with the Chinese. We come to contact all these people, right? Okay. Now, the Europeans also come into contact with these people to go like, where'd you get all this knowledge, right, sister? So the Greeks now come to Africa to also come and learn all that they can about this powerful thing that is making everybody that comes into contact with them powerful. They also come to learn, the Greeks. That is why all the Greek philosophers came to Egypt to study. Okay, so now they come to study from us. They also go and start building another religion because by that time the Jews were really solidifying themselves. Right? So now they also come to copy everything, the Jews, and now decided, okay, how do we make ours better?
Right. How can we tell the story better?
How do you make the story better? How do you make ours better, right? So the Jews have, by this time, already started tabling down the notes and conversations that they came into contact with. The Tanakh, their Bible. They started writing these things down, right? But they were smarter. So they had the Talmud, which is the hidden ones, the one that is not for the public. And then they have the Tanakh, the one that is for the public. So So by this time, the Greeks are also coming to court. The Greek Empire has also started growing because of how this empire divorced the other empire. The Persians divorced the Babylonian Empire and all that. So now it goes ahead, and the Greeks are in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
By the time the Greeks were about to fall, the Greeks are also put together their writing based on the information and intelligence they came to meet.
Mm-hmm.
So the Greeks had questions like, okay, where does man go when man dies? Oh, I hear these people say they go to a place, an everlasting realm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's call it heaven. So the Greeks created heaven.
Oh, the Greeks created heaven.
The,
Wow.
the narration of heaven, a place that you have to go, right?
Uh-huh.
According to the Bible, she said the whole subject, and a lot of people don't know this, but the whole subject of heaven didn't come about till the translations.
Mm.
That is why when you even read the Tanakh, it says, and he created the heavens, multiplicity. So
Mm-hmm.
the heavens there was not talking about a particular place, location. No, it was talking about the multiplicity of the realms.
Mm.
So creation started with the multiple realms, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now the Greeks say that, okay, we got to make this story juicer. We got to make it better, right? We got to make sure that once we insert this practice amongst the people, let's make sure they have something they are looking out for, and they have something that they will be punished if they don't do what they are supposed to do.
Right. So
So the
are you saying
Greeks,
that it was more so to keep the people in line?
but watch this, they couldn't take it further because their kingdom was collapsing anyways.
Okay.
But the Greeks invented hell. One day we'll talk about hell. The Greeks invented hell. The Greeks invented heaven, right? The
Mm-hmm.
Greeks invented a salvation because they heard our stories, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the Greeks invented the salvation. The Greeks invented all of this.
Mm-hmm.
This is why the New Testament, when you want to really understand the New Testament, it was first written in Greek.
Mm-hmm.
That's why every Christian Bible, first thing they do, every Christian pastor, prophet, bishop, whatever, first thing they do, they want to buy the Greek Bible and they want to quote the Greeks. And they want to use the Greek to try and understand, because if you want to understand the practice, you must first understand the language that the practice was written in.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So
Uh-huh.
anyway, if I see I'm reading it, it'll distract me. So you read it for me, right?
Okay.
So now this is what is happening. The Greeks create all these mysteries, create what do you call it? The ideology of life and the ideology of death.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to talk about ideology because when I start disintegrating and breaking them down, you'll understand why I'm calling ideology of life and death, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because from according to the Jewish stories, which is not our stories, but I'm only limiting it because we're talking about religion, there was nothing like life having the opposite of death.
Mm-hmm.
But the Greeks had to make it better, because if there's a punishment that is bringing you to hell, then of course this punishment have to really have something, right? So they created a concept of death that it totally sees you from existence,
Mm-hmm.
which is false, but it's an ideology. And because they didn't fully understand what our fathers were teaching them, mind you, they couldn't speak the language. They
Right.
were only ducting whatever they got out of it, right? So they
Exactly.
create all these things. And these are facts. I'm only paraphrasing and making the story together easy for you. These are facts with timelines and dates and everything that I'm saying. And I can easily bring it to you. But I'm only summarizing the story of how this other religious systems and powerhouses came to be.
Mm-hmm.
So now the Greeks create heaven, create hell, in the concept of when you die, you're going to a heaven or hell, create death, create punishment, create all these places, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the kingdom is dying though. So one of my fathers would tell me that, you know what, and uh, when you are creating something new, it cannot survive in the dying kingdom. Mida or wherever you are, I greet you. So I'm copying a bit of what he teaches into the point of making. So whilst the Greeks were dying, they decided that, you know what, this new religion that we are creating cannot survive.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to put this religion into something that is now coming up.
Right.
Guess what was coming up after the Greeks? was the Romans.
Mm.
So now Romans take the hard work, copy the hard work of the Greeks, and now come to form the Christian religion.
Mm.
And with all the doctrines that the Christian religion has to offer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
mind you, our people were not Muslims, were not Jews. Our people were not Christians, didn't follow. And even before the first place they started, oh, I forgot this guy. The first place they started Christianity was after a gentleman that his disciples were called the bishops of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can get it up. Just 1 second.
So Eric B, I'm not sure exactly what you mean by your question. If you can either rephrase it or um, maybe change it a little bit. I'm not sure.
Serapis. Yes, I got the name Serapis, right?
Uh-huh.
Just and a Greek, of course. And so the name is Serapis Christos.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can read it. It's not made up. Everybody can read it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Google. So Serapis also spelled, okay, Greco-Egyptian deity of the sun, first encounter at Memphis. Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Greco-Egyptian deity of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Guess why they worship on the Sunday? Sunday. This is where Christianity is coming from.
Mm.
So Christianity is not even coming from the book of Acts from 4, where the Holy Ghost came. No, 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 no. That Christianity was established religion by the Greeks. And the first person they used was Serapis, because they tried to merge the ideologies that were in Egypt with themselves, and they're trying to bet out of Egypt, because for everybody to ever have any religious set, they had to come into contact with us as a people.
Mm-hmm.
That is why no matter where black people are, they are most spiritual over everybody else in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Black people can come and take your religion and make and own it, make it their own, and they
Oh.
will even have it do it better than yours, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody had to come in contact with it, just as the Greeks. Go
Mm-hmm.
and read. It's on Google. This is not fun, right? Where his court was celebrated in association with that of the sacred Egyptian bull Apis,
Mm-hmm.
who was called Osurapis when deceased. Right? So the followers of Serapis were called, the followers and the leaders of Serapis were called the bishops of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So the Greeks called him Serapis Christos. Go, anybody can search it. It's not the hidden stuff, right? So Serapis Christos was what the Romans now saw.
Mm-hmm.
The,
Mm-hmm.
so when the people started gathering, because the Romans had now shut down the Greeks, right? So when the people started gathering in the Roman era, they were like, wait a minute, these people are behaving like the Christians,
Mm-hmm.
the followers of Serapis. And this is what they dated and quoted in Act 4,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Romans said, you know what, we got to do better. We got to do better. The Greeks almost got it. We got to do better, right?
Mm-hmm.
They sent some of their scholars to Egypt to learn more. They brought more scholars from Egypt to learn more.
This sounds like a whole business exchange going on.
Yeah, and to teach them more, right?
Uh-huh.
But the Romans did better. You say what? The Jews were rising up at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to shut down so that their kingdom will reign, right? They have to make sure they come up with a better system that sort of speaks well of the Jews, but at the same time establishes who they are. So
Mm-hmm.
now they started dacting the stories and say, well, the Jews, your Messiah that is promised in your Bible, guess what? It's now here.
Mm-hmm.
We're now giving you the Messiah. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So all the way in the meetings, all the way from 100 AD moving forward, this was when everything started falling in place. It was around 100 AD that the Jews came together and established their first Holy Bible from
Mm-hmm.
Genesis to Malachi. 100 years after supposedly the death of Christ. This is not, listen, I'm not coming against anybody. This is not, we're just explaining um, historic facts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now the Romans successfully create the Christian religion. Successfully. They create the Christian religion. Now the Christian religion goes ahead to become more powerful, more environmental friendly.
Mm-hmm.
The Christian religion became more environmental friendly, more easygoing. They started introducing teachings like grace. Oh,
Uh-huh.
by grace. Because the Jews were busy condemning, saying, no, 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 no. Hashem will condemn you. The Greeks were saying Hashem. The Romans said, no, 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 Hashem will do anything to you. When by grace you'll be saved. So these religions started coming out.
Right.
Few things that they terrorize everybody with, and the Romans enforced it, is the subject of heaven or hell.
Mm-hmm. Am I frozen? I feel like I look like I'm frozen.
Yes, you're frozen. But
Ah.
the subject of heaven or hell,
Uh-huh.
right? The subject of salvation, you're frozen. So I don't know if you check it. I'll keep going the whole day.
Yeah, just keep
Don't
going.
mind me.
Trying to figure it out. I don't want to distract. I don't want to distract.
Yeah. So they introduce salvation that you got to be saved. They introduce heaven and hell.
Mm-hmm.
These are all Greeks doing. And of course, the miraculous birth of the Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
So now, people who were not comfortable with the so many regulations of the Jewish scriptures that had what? So many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of laws, 613 laws in the Torah. So that they're like, well, I'm not going to be able to keep all these 613 laws.
Mm-hmm.
And when they went to the Islamic world, they also had their own laws and order and was frustrating them. So majority of them settled, and I choose my words carefully, settled for the one that says that, oh, grace would humbly save you. Even if you sin 100 times, grace will forgive you.
Right.
That is what started populating the entire Christian religion and all of that. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, we've defined how the Jews came about, how the Muslims came about, and how the Christians also came about. And after Christian, we go to Christian and all these other religions. Now, all these other religions is all promising you life after death.
Yep, absolutely. That's what they do.
And that's what everybody is terrified by.
Uh-huh.
And we'll go into it. Now, none of these religions for a second quoted anything or give credit to our fathers for the wisdom and intelligence that they gave them.
Right.
So when you go to the Tanakh, the Jewish Bible, there are so many countless words
Mm-hmm.
in the Jewish Bible that they couldn't find anywhere to replace them, so they just left them there.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, if something came before us, okay, something came before who we are, something came before our spirituality,
Mm-hmm.
should we not be the ones copying your words,
Right.
right? We
Mm-hmm.
should be the one going after your words. We should be the one learning from you.
Exactly.
So if we were ignorant, we never learned anything, we
Mm-hmm.
never understood anything, we didn't know anything, right?
Right.
How is it that your Bible is full of our words?
Exactly.
How?
Exactly.
We were the ignorant ones.
Right.
Because there are certain words that they could never replace in their Bible. And it's there, it's in their Talmud. This
Mm-hmm.
is not hidden.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that has a Bible at all, you can go and read of the word Akan. A-K-N. A-K-A-N.
Is that a word that they still have in the Bible?
Yeah, Akan is in the Bible.
Oh wow, I never even realized that.
Even right after the motorway going towards Volta, Tema, Tema, Tema. The place we know as Tema is in the Bible.
Oh
And
wow.
so many other words, like so many.
Uh-huh.
So now you wonder, wait, if we are the ignorant people,
Right.
how is it that we have our words in your Bibles that you couldn't find any other words on the face of the earth to replace them.
Exactly. It's no
Anyway,
translation.
you couldn't translate them because you didn't understand the word.
Exactly.
So fast forward, religion has come to stay. Because, like we got the definitions, human beings constantly need to be looking for the meaning, a sacred meaning to the life forms that they have. So they keep going and keep chasing after this that we call life.
Right.
We need to understand from the onset this basic thing, and everybody know this. They threaten you with salvation. They threaten with your life and death. That you need to be saved.
Yeah.
Why do you need to be saved? Because you are so full of sin that you are going to die. So you need to be saved. This is the whole concept of salvation. If you don't get saved, you live in eternal hell. Okay. Then it means that they have to do better by actually proving to the fact that you die. Because the minute somebody else come up and say that, well, you don't die, then it means the whole concept of dying and being saved is totally thrown out of the way. So now, question is, one thing we need to know, because they made you think like that. Life is eternal. Life on its own is eternal.
And you
It
know what?
never dies.
And you know what's something that's so interesting to kind of piggyback off of what you're saying. I remember when I was in school, and in history class they used to teach us that how life was basically like everlasting, like you die and you come back, the law of reincarnation. And I don't remember what age or what grade I was, but the story completely changed, and then it became you die and go to hell or you go to heaven. So it's interesting that even as a child growing up in America, that I was, initially taught that we are that we are reincarnated, and then went from that to then the story changed to now, either you're dying and you're going to heaven or hell. So it just goes to show how they constantly are changing the story.
You understand? No, but think about it. The, the, the pivot or the anchor or the major selling point of religion is salvation. Life after death.
Right.
That is one of the most ridiculous grammatical errors I've ever met or ever seen anybody write down. For you to actually put those two words together and say life after you die.
Right.
Okay.
Life after death.
So they make it look like life or death is the opposite of life, and life is the opposite of death.
Right.
One thing I need to understand, and it's a fact, both scientifically and of course common sense. Life cannot die. That's the only problem. That's the only problem with the salvation story. Life can never die.
Right.
Even the doctors should help us. Even the corpse, when the person inhabiting this physical body leaves the body, there's still living organisms in the life. There's still life in the corpse of that individual, right or wrong.
Right.
But that's when all the microorganisms keep coming up and all that.
Right.
When you die, even if you are dead for 100 years, there's still life in your bones. There's still life in your hair. There's still life in your nails. This is why, even after centuries after death, they can still pick your DNA out of your nails and your hair and your bones. Right?
Wow. Powerful, powerful, powerful.
The mistake they made was that instead of properly addressing the fact that, guys, ladies and gentlemen, life is eternal. Death is only the opposite of birth and not life. You are born, right or wrong?
Absolutely.
And you are dead, right or wrong?
Absolutely.
Have anybody ever been born that they said, "Oh, you are life"? No. He said, "You are born. You are
Right.
giving birth." Nobody
Uh-huh.
said you are giving life.
Right.
Because even before you were born, you existed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And if anything at all will not make you understand this basic phenomenon, he said, even before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you know me from?
Right.
He didn't say when you were in your mother's womb.
Uh,
Just in case you don't have a clue of what I'm saying. He says, even before. So the question is, you had life before you were formed in your mother's womb. It is not your mother's womb that gave you life.
precisely.
So even Abraham in the Bible says, when I die, I want to be amongst my fathers.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, if you are dying and that's the end of you, why are you worried about where they're burying you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And of course, the New Testament itself testifies when our grandfather who was dead, Moses, and our great-great-grand and our other grandfather who was also dead, Elijah, came
Uh-huh.
up physically and met Jesus in Gethsemane. Wait, were they not dead?
Mm-hmm.
How did they come up? Oh, Jesus himself quoted, he says, and I saw Abraham,
Mm-hmm.
right? I saw was it a wicked or something in Abraham's bosom and was crying that if Abraham could just pinch water and put it on his tongue. But
Mm-hmm.
Abraham was dead.
Mm-hmm.
You got what I'm saying? Okay. Just for anybody at all to think that, okay, what is he saying? He has no idea what he's saying. Let me show you. It's sad that you are frozen, but I'll still do it. I assume that you are doing it, okay?
Uh-huh.
Just to show you, I'm just illustrating to you how the you that you are is not just this physical body, and
Right.
how you can easily move outside of your physical body easily.
Mm-hmm.
No to it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of doubters, because of people who say, well, how do you know this and that and that? Okay. And this is to say, like, get this. There's nothing wrong being a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong being a Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong being a Christian
Mm-hmm.
or a Freemason or whatever it is that you want to believe in.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is where your true self have found solace according to the programming, the doctrination around you. That's where you found solace. That's where you found home. That's where you found peace, right?
Right.
That is what is making you calm and making you a better human being on the face of the earth. So
Uh-huh.
how can I knock down something that is helping you?
Right.
There's nothing wrong with it,
Mm-hmm.
right? But life is more than your physical body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now watch this, okay? Just sit comfortably.
Mm-hmm. Mommy.
When you're ready, let me know, because you're going to be quiet for a while. So just sit comfortably. Are
I'm
you
sitting
ready?
comfortable. Yes, I'm
And
sitting
everybody
comfortable.
else can listen. Everybody else can try it in your home, okay?
Yes, everybody join. Let's join in
Please
on this
join. Try it. Don't be scared. This is nothing. Don't be afraid. Everybody, try it, okay, in
I'm
your
mad I'm
home.
frozen. I'm just as upsetting me, but we gonna press through anyhow.
Mm. Now, just sit comfortably. Don't think about anything, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I will even tell you what is happening.
Are we
But
closing our
after
eyes?
we are done,
Are we
okay?
closing our eyes?
Yeah, you close your eyes.
Okay.
After we are done,
Uh-huh.
I would tell you what you are supposed to experience, and then you type in whether you experienced it or not. Because I don't want to I don't want to give you an idea of what we're about to do right now. Okay,
Uh-huh.
simple.
Mm-hmm. So we're closing our eyes.
Just close your eyes. Your head slightly tilted, not all the way, not
Mm-hmm.
down, but slightly tilted. Okay, and just close your eyes. Now I want you to forget about anything, everything you have around. Just forget about everything. Okay. Now I want you to take a deep breath. Breathe out. Take a deep breath. Breathe out. Take a deep breath. Breathe out. Now, I want you to take a deep breath, a last, a heavy one, okay? And whilst you are breathing out, I want you to envision seeing your breath go out of your body, okay? And then follow where your breath is going. So literally see it. So let's do the example first before we do the real thing. So take a deep breath. See the breath coming into you, okay? Take a deep breath. And now you're going to breathe out and follow the breath, okay? Breathe out. You breathe out slowly, okay? So this is just a test. You come to try it. After you breathe out, just stay there and see that your breath is gone out of you and follow your breath wherever you feel your breath went to. So just stay there chasing after your breath. No need to do anything. Just chase after wherever your breath went, okay? Are you ready? Okay. Take a deep breath. The minute you breathe out, you chase after your breath, okay? Now breathe out and follow your breath. Follow your breath. And just keep still, keep quiet, and follow your breath. Just keep following your breath. Okay. Now slowly come back to yourself. Come back to your awareness. Take a deep breath. And now breathe out. Okay. So I just did a simple experiment. Okay. Now, I didn't want to say what was happening because I didn't want to influence what was happening. Okay.
Uh-huh.
But now that I've done that, I'm asking a simple question. Okay. When you were following your breath, did you feel like you were leaving your body?
I absolutely did. I felt like a separation. Hmm.
Anybody else in the comments? Anybody? Tell us. Let us know. I want to know before I move on.
Drop a comment. Let us know what you felt. What you felt.
When
I,
I asked you to follow your breath, did you literally feel like you were leaving your body?
Mm-hmm. And if anybody was like me, you pause like, hold up, wait a second. Let me come back to thyself. Where's my soul going?
Anybody in the comments? Yeah, because you obviously felt like you're leaving your body, right?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
It's simply to let you know that you as a being is not bound by your physical body.
Right. I flew all the way around the universe. Oh, you was brave. You was brave. You went with it. You wasn't like me holding back. Hold up, what's happening?
You- Unfortunately, I could not do it because I'm at work
Right.
right now. It's okay. You can do it later. You can do it later. It doesn't matter. You can do it later.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the point is that the whole education on what is life and what is death is totally misinformed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We need to understand that death is not the end of life.
Right.
Just as you following your body, it wasn't the end. Your body was still here. Your
Mm-hmm.
physical body, you followed it, and then you decided to come back to it.
Mm-hmm. But isn't it the
So,
same comparison? Like, when you, what I'm coming to learn and what I'm coming to even physically realize is that when you lay down and go to sleep at night, your body is laying there sleeping, but your spirit is literally leaving your body and traveling it, whether you're aware of it or not. But your spirit is off traveling, doing what it need to do. And then at the point when it comes back into your body, you wake up. And I think that a lot of people don't realize when you go to, that's the whole purpose of sleeping. So your spirit can do whatever it needs to do in the realm while your body is resting.
you understand it? So death has never been the end of life.
Mm-hmm.
Neither is birth the beginning of life.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
When you are born, that is not when you start living.
Mm-hmm.
You are an eternal force. You are an eternal being.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great
So,
knowledge.
as to the subject of life and death was supposed to be educated this way, it is the transitional period of every existing being that
Mm-hmm.
moves from one state and ends in another state.
Mm-hmm.
So, whenever you are moving from one dimension to come into this dimension, that
Mm-hmm.
is when we call being born into.
Right.
And whenever you are leaving out of this dimension to go to another dimension, it's what we call you are dying out of.
Mm-hmm.
You are exiting.
Mm-hmm.
So every time you are born, you die at the same time.
Right. Because you're dying from one dimension, moving
You
to.
dying from what you exiting one dimension
Uh-huh.
and you are coming into another dimension. So you are dying from one, you are being born from one.
Mm-hmm.
You are being born into one. So
Into it.
this whole transitional period was what our fathers, were trying to teach the world. But
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't understand it, they just took what they got and started making a doctrine out of it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So if you're never dying,
Mm-hmm.
then why do you need saving?
Right.
This is why religion is being subject to a particular doctrine, right? That a particular person believes in, dead and gone, and have left it behind for people to also follow.
Uh-huh.
So the only problem is that most people who go to religious practices never actually or technically experience life for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
They don't ever experience life for themselves because they are only existing based on what an individual believes and somebody else has written down. But they
Right.
are not experiencing life for
For
themselves, for me.
themselves.
They are not selling the testimony that, well, I came into existence, I existed and had every experience that I could get, and now I am exiting this dimension to go into another dimension.
Mm-hmm.
So in our fathers, in our dialect, we have a place we call Ensa. and some mind do.
Mm-hmm.
And some mind, and some means never ending, everlasting. That's and some I didn't know some, right? And some mind means a country, a kingdom, or a place,
Mm-hmm.
right? So and some mind do means the place for the everlasting ones.
Mm.
So before they ever came and brought back the practices, the culture, the way of life that we gave them, before they brought it, we already knew we are eternal beings.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We already knew that we are eternal beings, that we keep existing from that one dimension to another dimension. So we have a name in our language called Abba Bio. Abba Bio simply means the one that has come again
Mm.
into this dimension.
Uh-huh.
Subject reincarnation, right?
And
So
yes.
these people created the religious spectrum as a controlling tool to be able to populate and dominate a particular region that they were taking dominance in.
Mm-hmm.
So religion was basically a reforming tool, a controlling tool,
Mm.
versus spirituality, lack of a better word, which is only experiencing one dimension of your being.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, Again, it's English language. When we say physicality, what does it mean?
Physicality is like your physical body, like, your physical makeup,
When we say mentality, what does it mean?
your brain, your perception of reality, what your thoughts are.
So when we say spirituality, what does it mean?
Um, if I would say spirituality, I would probably say that it's just basically it's another form of your belief.
No, 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 no. Watch this. I asked specific questions and you answered beautifully. So don't twist it according to indoctrination or programming. Right? Let's just follow the same sequence. When
Yep.
we say physicality, we are talking about your physical body, right or wrong?
Right.
When we say mentality, we are talking about your mental plane, right or wrong?
Right.
So when we say spirituality, are we not simply talking about your spiritual body?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, your spiritual being. Mm-hmm.
You understand? So
Mm-hmm.
we've spoken about three planes, three dimensions, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
has nothing to do with you.
Right.
Ah,
Right.
did you catch it?
Uh-huh.
It has, it's a part of you,
A part
right?
of it. Yes.
But
Yes.
but this realm, this existentiality, we've exalted spirituality to become something that you have to now be outside of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If physicality is not outside of yourself
Yourself. Right.
and mentality is not outside of yourself,
Uh-huh.
how is spirituality outside of your own personal experience?
Amazing. 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 Absolutely.
I cannot feel what your physical body is feeling. That is your experience. That is your feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I am not in your mind to be able to tell you what is going on in your mind.
Right.
So how is it that you are looking up to me to tell you what is happening in your own spirit? Ah.
Right.
Why should you follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Follow you.
Follow you.
Understand you. Know your
Exactly.
spirit. It's your spirit, for crying out loud. Your body
Exactly.
is your body. So if you decide to tattoo your body, what say do I have?
Mm-hmm.
Your mind is your mind and it's a tool. If you decide to not sharpen your mind, what say do I have?
Right.
Your spirit is your spirit. If your spirit is down, what can I do?
Right.
So
Mm.
now the whole subject, that's what I understood from the whole subject of spirituality is just understanding one dimension of you,
Wow.
just one dimension, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm.
That is why you cannot compare spirituality into a belief system that somebody have come to live and has left it behind for others to follow.
Right.
This is why nobody should be able to tell you this is how you should keep your physical body. It is yours, for crying out loud. If you decide to make it big, make it big. If you want to make it small, make it small. If you want to make it tiny, it's your physical body, for crying out loud. If you don't like the way your physical body is, you decide. Let nobody decide for you.
Mm-hmm.
This is the whole marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? Because of ignorance of so many of us, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we've given our physical body for others to control. This
Right.
is why somebody is telling you what to wear.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody is telling you the shape to be in. Somebody is telling you the kind of breast you should have, the kind of buttocks you should have, the kind of face you should have. So you're constantly confused because somebody is controlling your physical body.
Mm-hmm.
As if that is not enough, somebody else is also controlling your physical body by telling you what you should learn, what you should not learn, what you should know. What somebody's controlling your physical body. As if that is not enough, somebody's controlling your spirit too.
Right.
So the vehicle, the machine that you have as a physical being, you are literally not in control of.
Mm.
This is why we say, lack of a better word, spirituality is all about knowing you, going into within yourself and knowing you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the you that is not your body, the you that is not your spirit, the you that is not your mind, that you is the one that lives eternally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is the eternal being. That is the God in you.
Mm-hmm.
This is why when Kanye West started saying, I am God, people had a problem with it because they didn't believe in themselves. They go, well, who are you to? He is professing who he is. He is a God having a human experience, the same way you are a God having a human. Think about it. If you are actually supposed to be the God that is in control of the whole earth, would you wait and let somebody tell you what to do with your earth?
Mm. Preach. Mm-hmm.
Why are you waiting for somebody to tell you what you do with your physical body
Exactly.
or with your being, with your existence here?
Mm-hmm.
This is why I get confused when people say, I'm following a religious practice. There's nothing wrong with it. That is what you know, that's what you've heard because you are not in control.
Right.
The minute you gain control of your physical body, the
Mm-hmm.
minute you gain control of your mental body, the minute you gain control of your spiritual body,
Mm-hmm.
guess who is in control now? Guess who is in charge?
Your true self.
You are in charge. And
Mm-hmm.
so long as you are in charge, you
Mm-hmm.
will not let another man tell you how you should control your home.
Powerful. 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 Yes. So I'm about to put him in my pocket. My mother says she's about to put you in her pocket. Every time somebody says something, so listen to this. What to do. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I mean, I don't even know where we go from here, y'all. What do we do with all of this information? Nothing but put it into practice and actually begin to, apply what we've learned today to our actual lives. I am in charge. Yes, yes, yes. I am in charge. I am in charge. Everybody
That
say
is the
I am in
whole
charge.
essence. That is the whole essence of existentiality.
Mm-hmm.
You came here by yourself for your information.
Right.
You came here by, you decided to come into this realm.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get here, you are in charge of everything that happens to you.
Mm-hmm.
How can you give that such power? How can you give it to anybody else to control? Imagine you are a woman in your house and
Mm-hmm.
another woman is telling you what to cook for your children,
Hmm.
how to take care of your husband,
Prime example.
how to keep your house. Another woman is telling you that.
Mm-hmm.
So you are a God, and another person is now telling you what you should do with you.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Hmm.
This is why a true teacher would never tell you, follow me.
Right.
A true teacher will tell you, listen to what I'm saying. If there's any wisdom in it, apply it to your own life.
Exactly.
I'm only a signpost. I'm not directing you anywhere. I'm not telling you to come anywhere. This is why majority of our conversations, we don't say, come, 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 or join this. No, 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 no.
Mm-hmm.
Know you. Know who you are. We only
Exactly.
encourage you and say, you know what? We're having our Kosidai in January. It's going to be a beautiful gathering of family, brothers and sisters coming together, all knowing ourselves, honoring everything in
Hmm.
essentiality. You can join us, but it's your decision.
Exactly. We can also say that if you take part in the diagnosis, it's absolutely going to show you who your true self is. So it's so necessary and it's
I'm going to
powerful.
post a video on our on the Maker pages tomorrow. The
Yes.
minute I saw the video, I'm
Uh-huh.
like, this is what happens when people don't know who they are.
Right.
And I'll post it tomorrow. It's not so much of that the kind of video that I'll usually post, but now I figured, wait, the world is looking at everything else but in information, knowledge, intelligence. So
Hmm.
the things they want to look at, we'll use the same things to educate them.
Right. So go on over and follow Mekra if you're not subscribed to the channel. Make sure that you go follow. So when he posts that video tomorrow, you can absolutely see it. I will have my eyes open so I can see, and I'm even going to repost it on Just Blog just in case you miss it.
I don't know if you want to post that content though, because when I saw it, I was I was almost going to rip it into two. Then I was like, wait a minute, I can actually use this to teach.
Okay. Okay. Well, I don't run away. I'm not shy to anything.
You understand? But
Uh-huh.
that's simply religion is a tool they created to control you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Existentiality, and that's why I use existing. Existentiality is the creative force giving you everything it takes, right, to come and experience this beautiful heaven, this beautiful realm that
Mm-hmm.
we call amazing earth, that we ourselves, because we lack awareness of who we are, have
Right.
destroyed.
Mm-hmm. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Oh my gosh. This tonight's conversation was through the roof. Like I'm completely blown away. I've learned so much. And I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all did too. Let's see if we have any questions. Let's get to some questions before we end. I
Any
know
question?
Eric B had a question. Was it Eric B? No, it wasn't Eric B. Who
You
had?
can ask
Oh,
questions.
oh, it was Eric B. He wants to know, where are the people in the Bible buried? If the Bible is true, and if the accounts of the Bible is true, and it talks about these different people who passed away, where is the proof of that these people once existed? So he want to know where they at.
So, like if you missed it, please go back and watch this episode,
Hmm.
because I broke it down all the way from how religion is religion and spirituality is spirituality, and all the way to who started it all, right?
Hmm.
And they all came into contact with our fathers, and everything the world has today is all coming from our fathers. This is fact. This is the truth. So the people that the Bible supposedly is supposed to be describing and telling their story are still in existence. Yes, of course, people died. I mean, come on. If you bury somebody in the earth today, just give it how many years? 20 years, the whole body will be decomposed.
Hmm.
You won't find anything there, right?
Hmm.
So if you talk about people who died and buried and all of that, of course, there people will die and bury and all of that, right? And the people who doubt the fact that there can be a civilization and the entire civilization will be gone, well, don't go too far. Look at all the earthquakes that is happening in Libya and China, how the water just wipes away everything from wherever. I heard that there was a church that was moved from its plot and was sent to another plot. Then
Wow.
we were wondering what they are going to say, right? So
Wow.
distractive force is real. If you don't wait for anything to tell you. Now, as for the people, the context of the Bible, the people that were trying to talk about the rituals that are in the Bible, don't go too far. Come home. Come to the continent.
Mm-hmm.
All these rituals you see in the Bible, the people are still practicing it till date.
Yeah.
There's one thing that I found in the Bible. Let me share with the brother.
Mm-hmm.
So in the Bible, they say that when a man child is born, right, they
Mm-hmm.
have to wait till the 8th day before they circumcise it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's a contest of the Bible and if something that nobody has ever practiced, then
Mm-hmm.
nobody on the face of the earth should practice it, right or wrong. It should be new. And
Mm-hmm.
our people should wait till the Christians come and teach them how to do this particular ritual, or the Jews. Because the Christians don't even do these rituals anymore. But guess what? There's a particular practice on the continent in Ghana that we call Endawoche.
Mm-hmm.
Endawoche, right? Endawoche, they say that on the 8th day. Endawoche simply means the 8th day. And that ekro ebien ebasa anan enum esia eson awotwe. So and that watch the 8th day, right? Which literally means the 8th day is when we circumcise the male child. I was
Mm-hmm.
circumcised before I even became born again. So my question is, right? If my parent and my dad is a subjective Christian, we can only say he's a Christian. But so if my fathers and my father's fathers already practiced this thing before they ever read any Bible, then the question is, how did they know it?
Right. Right. Where did this
How did
information
they
come?
know it?
Mm-hmm.
These things they say you have to slaughter the goat in a particular way and hang it particularly the blood. These are things we do.
Mm-hmm. And you know, when I attended a Kwesi Dai for the first time, and I seen certain things that took place, and I'm like, literally, I remember sitting there. We were all in all black and just in motion, and I just remember thinking to myself, like, this is exactly the stories that I have read in the Bible. Why have I never seen this in church? It was so amazing to me. I'm just like, what? This is where in that moment I was like, this is where I belong.
Yeah, because and what we did is in your Bible. They
Right.
said when the congregation is in grief or when the congregation is looking for a particular thing, what they do that they should all come outside the tent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wear sackcloth. This is where we
Uh huh.
all wear black, and
Uh huh.
this is our life.
Right, right. And I'm like, it's crazy how they call us evil, but the same Bible that they push upon us in the States, they're not even keeping what they're telling you that you should be living by. But here I am in Ghana where they're calling evil, and I'm seeing everything that the Bible tells you to do. We're literally doing it here, but I've never once seen any Christian church do these things.
There's a day I'm waiting for the Christian to fulfill the very prophecy that Jesus
Uh
gave,
huh. Uh huh.
that when the Holy Spirit come upon you, you walk on serpents and scorpions and they won't harm you. I'm waiting to see
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. I was just talking to my sister about this the other day. Exactly.
I'm waiting to see that because you drank from the pot of scorpions and cobras and all of that, right?
I did. Yes.
And you're still alive. You drank poisons and you're still here.
I'm still here. Oh, that was
Your
poison
audience
that I
are
drunk.
still watching you.
I don't know what I drunk. It was poison.
It was poison. It was poison, venoms, DDTs, every venom you can find.
Oh well, I'm glad to know that I was near death and I didn't even realize it.
Would you have ever tried that in the church?
Absolutely, they don't even offer that in the church for you to even decide if you want to try it.
If they offered it, would you have tried it?
What was that? Repeat your question.
If they offered it in the church, would you have tried it?
I would have not if it was explained to me that way. I mean, if you would have explained it to me this way, I'd have ran. I gotta drink what? Oh, I'm out of here. Y'all crazy. My mom said she should have never heard that before she got to go through what she got to go through.
You gonna have to tell me it's grape juice or something.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Always an
So
amazing time
I don't
spending time.
poison y'all, and I'm still allowed to tell my story. He has just let me know.
I thank God.
Yeah. No, but you scared though. Remember when you got home and the insect bites were on your skin. You felt you were about to die. You called me up and said, Osofo, can I ask you this question? What did you give me to drink, please? I feel like I'm about to die.
And he still never even told me, don't worry about it. You just drunk poison. Which it was totally even unrelated to what I drunk. It was because of the insects that's outside. So if you're planning to attend a Kwesi Dai, I don't know what to tell you about these insects, but they do bite your skin. And actually, my skin just healed from all of the marks that I had from the mosquito, the insects or whatever was biting me.
No, but it's scientific though,
Uh
because
huh.
what they do is that they one first of all they are welcoming you to the place,
Uh
and two they are increasing your immune system.
huh. Okay.
So they are putting those bacteria in there to
Mhm.
help your bacteria to fight them,
Mhm.
so that they boost up your immune system.
Mhm.
So when you go into environments that have that, you would not succumb to that bacteria or viruses anymore. And this
Okay.
is how our
Uh,
fathers became strong, because they were in the forest and nature was constantly strengthening their immune system to be
mhm.
powerful.
Mhm. So you're telling me next to Quasi die, I don't have to worry about the insect itch.
You should invite them, welcome them. If
Oh,
you do it after a period of time, now when you go, they're still there, but you won't feel anything anymore.
okay. Okay.
You'll be immune to them. It's science.
Okay. So I'm looking forward to Kwesi y'all. If y'all have never been to Ghana before, if you've been terrified because of what the media has been telling you, listen, fear no longer. Kwesi is happening January 2024. I will personally be going myself. And if you want to join in, just, go ahead, shoot an email to info@justlog.love or simply drop a comment and let us know so we can get you planning and ready for a Kwesi.
Definitely, it's gonna be an experience you don't want to miss. It's gonna be something else. So make sure you're part of it. Don't miss out.
Exactly. And okay, 100-day fast is right around the corner, y'all. I am still preparing my mind. Right as this live was starting, I was eating some chicken. Listen, don't judge me. Don't judge me, but I'm trying to do my last bit of what I can't do because the 100-day fast is starting September 29th, and I'm excited. It's going to lead all the way up to Aquacidai, which is the grand finale. And I believe that even partaking in this fast is going to like just make Aquacidai so much more powerful. So if you're planning on attending Aquacidai, definitely consider partaking in the 100-day fast.
It is, and after we are in the midnight, so after 13 minutes, it's gonna be 10 days to go. I'm excited. I'm ready. It's gonna be an awesome time.
Absolutely. Someone says, I can't wait to drink my poison. Come drink up, drink
Come,
up.
come, drink up, drink up. You're gonna enjoy it.
Will you be offering that same option for this Aquacidai that's coming?
No, no. Of course, we need to protect everybody that comes
Okay.
around, and
Okay.
it's a protection ritual where nobody can poison you anymore. They put whatever in your drink, you're good. It's a protection ritual, so it's just something that everybody should have. You should protect yourself as a man. You got to protect yourself. And you see, the amazing thing is that you are not protecting yourself against any devil, Satan. No, you are protecting yourself against any human beings, because
Right.
the devil will never come to your house to go and put something in your. It's always human beings. And
Mm-hmm.
when they get caught, they blame the devil,
Right.
right? So you need protection from human beings, people who are filled with bitterness, jealousy, envy, and all those people is simply because they don't know who they are. That's why the
Mm-hmm.
diagnosis is significant, because once you do the diagnosis, you literally know who you are. Once you
Exactly.
know who you are, you don't have to envy anybody. You know exactly what your life is about.
Exactly. And you know what I found also so amazing about the poison that you just told me I drunk is that and I was just having this conversation with my sister yesterday, is that it's a story in the Bible, and Paul actually got bit by a poisonous snake, I think it was. And when he got bitten by the poisonous snake, everybody was looking around, standing around waiting for him to die, but the death never came. And they looked at him like in amazement, like, how did he just get bitten by this poisonous snake and he did not die? So, this whole scenario of like the poison protection just lets you know that the stories in Africa on the continent are real.
Yeah, because all this protection, they copied it, they learned it from us. There's a reason why the very Bible teaches you that Jesus had to come to Egypt to learn. He couldn't heal anybody until he came down from Egypt, right? So everything they tell you, everything they teach you,
Hmm.
we give it.
Right. And again, I've never seen that. They talk about the story. They talk about how you have to have all of these powers. If you believe, if you're a reborn Christian, you can, walk on water, you get bitten by poisonous things, and nothing happens. But I just want to see. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody that's tuning in, but I'm just waiting to see a Christian that gets bitten by a rattlesnake and they live, or Christian that gets bitten by a scorpion and nothing happens. I want to see. I'm waiting.
Yeah. No. And you see the 10 A's, and that's what they use also to get a lot of people, confuse a lot of people. Knowing who you are and existing in this dimension has nothing to do with power. Power is for babies.
Hmm.
Imagine, think about it, right? If you wake up and everybody around you is black, would you ever worry about being black?
Absolutely not.
If you wake up and everybody around you never get killed by a gun, would you ever worry about gun protection?
No, why would you need to?
If you wake up in an environment where nobody steals from anybody, would you ever worry about stealing?
Absolutely not.
So most of these things that people want to see is simply because they lack it.
Hmm.
Once you have it, it's no more in it. It's part of your life. Because
Right.
once you get wet, they'll make sure the necessary cleansings and necessary ritual that has to be done for you is done. Once
Hmm.
it's done, when the people in was it Mali or was it Libya?
Hmm.
Was it Mali? When they were showing the videos of
Me
themselves
too. Me too.
cutting themselves, Niger, when they
Uh
were
huh.
showing the video of cutting themselves, the world was surprised. But we have these things. I have what? Over how many videos at my
Uh huh.
shrine, people cutting themselves and nothing is happening, right?
Hmm.
So once you grow up in that environment of protection and strength, you don't
Hmm.
think about these things.
Right.
You only think about these things when you don't have them.
Exactly. Because you know that you're not protected.
Exactly.
So someone says, does this protection also protect against guns?
Gun, knife, arrows, whatever.
I think they're
Yeah.
asking specifically about the the poison ritual. They want to know that when you do that
No,
particular
there's a whole gun protection ritual too.
okay, so that one the gun ritual is separate from the poison
It's
ritual.
separate.
Now, someone did bring this up to me when you're considering doing the gun ritual, which is basically if a bullet penetrates your skin. I mean, if someone shoots you, the bullet won't penetrate your skin; it'll just basically bounce off. So
Yes.
someone said that that can actually be a dangerous thing because, like, if for example, you need something to save your life, like a shot or something, and they try to inject the needle into you, it's not going to penetrate because you have this ritual done. So it can actually end up killing you rather than helping you.
But why do you need something to protect your life?
You
Oh,
said, why do you?
why do you need a shot to heal you? You have herbs.
Right,
if, if you have herbs, why are you worried about a shot?
right,
and
right. But I think it.
and besides the point,
Uh huh.
when it's necessary, every ritual has its code, has its key, right? So when it's necessary, once you're doing the ritual, they give you the code.
Okay.
So there are words you say that makes you vulnerable, and there are words you say that makes you showed up.
Oh, I see. I see. I see. I see. So I
So
wonder why
people
the.
who talk like that don't really understand the rituals, but every ritual has a code. You can uncode it, you can decode it.
Okay. So I wonder why the story I had, why they didn't, this particular person, it happened, I think, in Ghana somewhere, but why this particular person didn't have that code that, I think his life was in jeopardy and it was something going on with his physical body. And he had this particular ritual done and he was rushed to the hospital. They tried to give him a needle, but the needle wouldn't penetrate his skin. So he ultimately died from whatever was happening. So I wonder why he didn't have that code.
And you see, part of our ways is that before you even leave the house, you have an idea what's going to happen. That's
Uh,
what I'm saying. Knowing who you are and coming into awareness
mm-hmm,
is way bigger than
mm-hmm.
just going to do this little ritual or
Ritual.
that ritual or that
Right.
ritual. It's
Right.
bigger than the ritual,
Right.
right? It is those who are not trying to know themselves. They are the ones that goes for portions and rituals. because they don't know themselves. They don't trust themselves. They don't know who they are, right?
Right.
So, for example, if you know who you are and you know that, okay, as part of my DNA, I can never die in an accident, why'd you go for an accident ritual?
Right. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
once you come into yourself, and of course, as you keep growing, there are certain ways that even before you walk out of your house, you inquire to know whether everything will be safe when you go or not.
Right. Okay.
So there are no real surprises here in spirituality because your true self, your cra knows everything, right? And once you are in tune with your cra, your creator self, you would automatically also know everything.
Ah, okay. I see. That makes
So it's the
perfect.
growth, it's the maturity. Once you come into it, now you learn to be mature, right?
Exactly.
And
Mhm.
as you're maturing, a lot of things that you used to do when you're a baby goes down. It dies down.
Mhm. It brings down the swelling of the mind. What someone says, a child of a goat is a goat, a child of a sheep is a sheep, a child of God is a God. Okay. So
Yes.
this has been powerful. We thank you so much for just.
Thank you for having me. Always, always,
Yes,
always.
yes, yes. Again, again, again. I'm going to repeat. Head on over to Mecra. Make sure you subscribe. Okay. He's over there dropping knowledge after knowledge after knowledge. I think you do a new video like what, like once or twice a week? Or is it daily? How often is
Daily
it?
on social media and YouTube like 3 times a week.
Okay. So YouTube is 3 times a week. But I'm telling you, the 3 times a week that he dropped is about all you need because every video is so powerful and so knowledgeable that you literally probably need an entire 2 weeks to process what he said in 3 days. So definitely go on over to Mecra and check him out. Of course, we are here every Monday with a different topic of conversation. So you don't want to miss. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. So every time we go on live, if you're busy, YouTube is just gonna let you know. So we will see
Definitely.
you on the next live.
Subscribe, share, and love the channel. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the notification button. Yes, you missed out. Sorry, Malaysia. Sorry, you missed out. Make sure you subscribe. You hit the notification button so it always gets to you. Okay, don't ever miss. Love
Yes.
you guys. Great family. I'll see you.
Yes. And if you, in case you missed, you'll catch it on a replay. It'll be up in a few minutes. So you guys can just catch up on what we talked about. Okay.
Definitely.
See y'all next Monday.
See you Monday.